All right, you ready?
Yep.
Go ahead, Dan. Yes.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Dan Bates, President and CEO, Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, and we are thrilled you could join us today. We have a great guest presenter for you today, and you'll find out more about Mimi in just a minute. But anyway, those of you who are on Zoom with us can ask questions of the presenter. If you're on Facebook Live, type those questions in, and Tiffany will repeat those to Mimi so she can address them. And with that, like I said, we are very excited. We met Mimi a few weeks ago and coming back to Hamilton, and I'm sure she's not going to get into it, but we are so lucky to have her here. She does full adult team training for 22 to 67-year-olds, and she has more certifications and credentials than we have time to mention today. But I'll just say that she is a world-class fitness trainer, and we are thrilled to have her here in Hamilton. So you know who I am. We're going to find out who all of you are. Laura?
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Laura Merrill with the Greater Hamilton Chamber. So we'll just go around. Tell me who you are and what company you're with. Lisa, we will start with you.
Hi, I'm Lisa Sandlin. My company is called EmpowerWorks. I teach people how to own their life, health, and wealth through education, design, and financial services.
Good. Glad to have you with us today. Greg?
I am Greg Beck with Focal Point Business Coaching. I work with small businesses on issues of growth and profitability.
Great. Glad to have you with us. Nancy?
Good morning. I'm Nancy O'Neill with the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce.
Sandy, are you ready? Nope, no audio yet.
Well,
there you go.
Okay, sorry. Good morning, Sandy Kusnoff with Frank's Glass, a full-service glass company.
Great. Glad to have you with us. Nate?
Hey, good morning, everybody. I am Nate Mahon with Hamilton High School in the athletic department, representing the high school. Also, Mimi is my sister, and she's doing a great job. She is spearheading the efforts of training all 80 of our high school football players, and she's doing an excellent job. So that's it.
Great. Glad to have you with us and supporting the high school. Sean?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sean Johnson. I am the project manager for Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses, and I am actually here for two purposes. One, because I need to get back into shape, so I wanted to hear what Mimi had to say. And two, I am recruiting for our third cohort, so I wanted to, if it's possible, Dan, to get contact information for all the businesses on here, because our program is a full scholarship program through Goldman Sachs at Cincinnati State.
Great. Well, welcome. Glad to have you with us. Tiffany?
Good morning. I'm Tiffany Grubb, Director of Membership and Marketing here at the Hamilton Chamber.
All right. Well, Mimi, we will let you kick it off. We're excited to hear what you have to say.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining this morning. Two of my favorite things are good coffee and good conversation. So this pulled me right in. So, you know, coming back to Hamilton. So let's first start. I did grow up in Hamilton. My entire family lives here. I'm proud to be from Hamilton. Played volleyball, basketball, and softball at Hamilton High School, and then went on and played Division I softball at Cleveland State University. And it was through all of my athletics experiences that I really developed a passion for not only the sports side, but also the strength and conditioning, and then the fitness side. And I kind of took that and ran with it. So after graduation, I was a head college softball coach at Oberlin College up in Cleveland for several years. And during that time, I trained students and faculty and staff as part of my responsibilities. So things were kind of put into my lap, and I was like, wow, I also really have a passion for fitness. And from there, I decided to pursue my strength and conditioning certification to train college athletes. So then I went to Depauw University, and I was there for 2 years, Depauw with a W in Indiana, not to be confused with DePaul. So I was there for a couple years, and I actually wore multiple hats like Lisa. I was the assistant softball coach, assistant strength and conditioning coach for several male and female sports, and the assistant fitness director. So just really kept putting myself out there, learning. And then I ended up going to Boston for the last 3 years, where I was a softball coach at Tufts, at Tufts University, a strength and conditioning coach, as well as a full-time trainer at HealthWorks, which was a women's only fitness center, which is very unique, in Boston, Massachusetts. And really, I would say that I was always just doing. And I think that COVID and the pandemic allowed me, as it did for, I'm sure, many people out there, the chance to kind of slow down and step back and think, okay, for the last 10 years of my life, I've coached sports, I've coached fitness, I've coached strength and conditioning at all levels. And, what's next? And I really decided that I was ready. I was ready to come back to Hamilton and, own a facility where I could take everything I've learned and put it into one place. So obviously, with all of those things that I've done and learned, there's still a lot happening. And that's why I'm excited today to kind of share with everyone how I got to the point that I'm at and what we offer, because I think we offer a lot of services. I currently train young athletes, boys and girls, 8 years old, all the way to, I have clients that I train virtually and in person in their 70s. So I truly kind of run the gamut of who I work with, and that excites me, because I think at the end of the day, what I learned is that movement is most important. Whether I'm teaching someone to hit a softball, or teaching someone how to squat, or teaching someone to come back from a shoulder injury, they all kind of mesh together. And that's kind of what I realize is my passion, is just movement. And you can take that in a lot of different ways. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about all of our offerings, and feel free to ask questions throughout. And Tiffany, you can flag me down as well. And then at the end this morning, I would like to show you kind of how we coach and train here at Mahon Strength and Fitness. So I just opened Mahon Strength and Fitness January 1st. So this is just our 3rd month of being open, which is unbelievable. And it's been quite a ride so far. We are sitting around 40 adult members, but then we also have several youth athletes that train. As Coach Mahon mentioned, I'm helping out at the high school with strength and conditioning with the football guys. So we really are doing a lot of different things. I'm also happy to announce that I have 2 coaches on staff already, which is something that happened a little sooner than I had thought, simply because we're growing that fast. So I need a little help so I can get just, a little bit of sleep every once in a while. So this has been really great. So we do call our program team training. And the reason I like that term is because the idea is, no matter what fitness level you're at, what age you're at, I truly believe, given my athletics background, that training in the team setting has so many benefits. So we really try to train functional movement patterns. So think less, let's do biceps and triceps, and think more about how we squat, we push, we pull, we hinge, and movement patterns over muscle groups. And that's something that's taking time to kind of change the way folks think about training in general. The other thing that we do that I think is different is, I really like the term training versus a workout or a boot camp or high intensity interval training, because we really want to take a full, well-rounded approach to training, meaning that we want to hit mobility, so full range of motion, muscle activation, strength, cardiovascular fitness. And we want to really make sure that we're progressing, every time we train, versus you just coming in feeling like you got your butt kicked and leaving. So we really take a full approach to training versus just work out and we'll see you later. So each session consists of a dynamic warm-up, mobility, activation, movement prep. That's one thing that we really pride ourselves in, is that we want to not only help you and show you how to lift, but really teach you as an individual how to move your own body, because not everybody's body is the same. And we'll talk about that a little bit more when we talk about how we coach and teach movement. And then we have, again, strength in terms of functional movement patterns, conditioning, whether it's Maybe some days we do interval training where we get your heart rate up, bring it back down, get your heart rate up, bring it back down. Maybe we do steady aerobic training some days. So we're really trying to hit all aspects of cardiovascular fitness. And then we always end with some type of cool down. So all of our sessions are typically an hour. If I'm doing personal training, we can maybe go a half an hour, but a lot of folks have asked me, your classes are an entire hour, but we fill it, and we fill it in a way that's smart and science-based, not just running around for an hour. So you really will build yourself up and bring yourself back down before you leave. So with that being said too, our programs, I had mentioned earlier that we offer a lot of different programs. So we have our adults and our adult team training program. We have classes at 5:30 in the morning. And my favorite story about that really quickly is that for, I think, a month and a half, I'm not kidding, I had one person at 5:30 in the morning, one person. And we both were like, here we are, we're doing this. And now we have 10 people in the 5:30 a.m. class. So I think that's a great lesson of sticking with things when, you know, it might not seem like it's going to work out, but now we have a full class of 10 people that get in here at 5:30 in the morning. So it's really special for me to see that growth. And then we have 9 o'clock in the morning for those that can come at that time. And then we have 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. And that's every night of the week. And then on the weekends, both Saturday and Sundays, we have 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. And I've really allowed my membership base to help me build the schedule, because I never dreamed that Sundays would be such a hit. But, you know, folks really like to get in here on Sunday morning. So I said, why not? Let's do it. So I'll continue to change and grow the schedule as we grow our membership base. We are launching a teen program in April, and we're going to try to go with Mondays and Wednesdays, 4 to 5 p.m. If the kids can get here after school, but we will, again, be open-minded to figuring out what's best for the teens. And then we want to launch a kids program this summer. So more information will be coming out about that. And then additionally, I work alongside of Danny Moorhead with Elite Performance and Wellness to offer sports performance. So he has a full sports performance program for athletes, and we actually collaborate and work together. So I coached a few of the teams this past winter. And so we kind of, we work together and collaborate with our sports performance program, which is really awesome. And then finally, I also offer private training. So I have some one-on-one clients that maybe want to work towards specific goals. I have one-on-one athletes that want to work towards specific goals. And I'll go anywhere from 1 to 3 at a time in that setting, because it is a little bit more individualized, although we do pride ourselves in offering personal training within the group setting always. So in other words, you're not just going to be a number in our class. We know who you are, how you move, what your goals are, no matter what setting that you choose to be in. It really is whatever works best for you. So those are all of our offerings, and we do have some additional perks of being a member of our community. So first of all, it is a community. With COVID, I think that folks are really craving a social escape. So I really feel like, you know, the community has grown so much and people are really getting to know each other. You're not going to come in, like I said, and stand in the corner. You're going to integrate right into the community. It's been really just a great outlet for everyone at this time. We also offer nutritional workshops. So we had our first one last month, and that was really great because, as we know, nutrition, fitness, they go hand in hand. We offer open gym time, but we do have a coach in the building, but that allows you time to just use the space. And then something I'm really excited about that's come as of the beginning of March is we are partnering with Dr. Matt Sigler of Freedom Physical Therapy, and he actually comes in on Sundays and works with our membership base. So he's already working with a couple of our members. And the biggest thing with that is it's more preventative care, not, oh, I have this huge injury, now I need a physical therapist. We're really trying to be sort of cutting edge on preventative care, making sure your body's moving well, body work, like dry needling, acupuncture. He does all these things. So if you haven't heard of any of those, I would love to chat more about that as well. And then we have several different membership options. So we do an unlimited package. We do a 2 times a week. We do a punch card. So we try to really meet people where they're at and what works best for them and their lifestyle. I will say a lot of times when folks say, I'm just going to come 2 times a week, and then they come 2 times and then they're like, I'd like to come 5 times. So, but it is nice to have that option to just kind of slowly get yourself started. And then, you know, you can build upon that. I actually also reached out to my membership base. I just asked them, you know, I told them that I was speaking today, and I said, could you all share just a little bit about like what being a member at Mahon Strength and Fitness has meant to you or done for you in these last couple months? I mean, remember, this is only month 3. It's hard to believe, but I received so many amazing stories, improved blood pressure, overcoming injury, weight loss, gaining muscle. One of my members told me that he's hitting the golf ball farther than ever. That's important. And increased range of motion. I have several folks who maybe they couldn't do a full range of motion push-up, or they couldn't squat to parallel, and they're increasing their joint range of motion, which is so awesome. And then just building confidence and feeling better. I think what I keep hearing a lot is that we are a very inclusive group. We want to support everyone. We want to meet folks where they're at. You shouldn't come in feeling intimidated. We're going to embrace you and help you. That's what we're here for. And just the educational component, they feel like they're really learning a lot each session about themselves and how to move. And then just really making their own selves a priority. I hear that so much, you know, especially with those that have families, careers, they're so busy. And Tiffany and I talked right before we hopped on about the word busy. And I said, I feel very busy, but I try not to use that word because we're all busy. Busy is relative. And you have to make time for yourself. I mean, as a small business owner who just moved my life from Boston, I'm sure I'm too busy to train and work out and make myself a priority, but I actually block off time most days to make sure that I take care of myself, because if I don't take care of me, I can't be as good to everyone else. So I think that's really important. I know everyone has a lot going on in their lives, but if you can make that hour for yourself, I promise you're going to be so much better in every other aspect. And that's really the end goal of all of this. So with that being said, I am happy to answer some questions, or I can get right into my movement demonstration.
Does anybody have any questions right now? No? Okay. Do you want to go ahead and do your movement demonstration?
Okay. Awesome. All right. So I had talked about how we do things a little differently. We're not just, you know, a high intensity interval program or a boot camp. We really want to teach you how to work out, how to move, why we move, and, you know, how to do so with your body. So the first movement pattern I'm going to talk about is the squat. So when we think about squats, the first thing we need to do is muscle activation. I mentioned that earlier. So this is something you might see, maybe some of you, if you've ever gone to physical therapy, maybe you've done this. We're going to start with banded lateral walks. So we put the band around our ankles. We want to make sure our feet are under our hips. We hinge our hips back and we take strong steps. So I would go usually about 10 to 12 to the right, 10 to 12 to the left. But we want to make sure that we are activating our glutes before we squat. So what that does, it takes the strain off our knees and puts it into the right muscles. So you might see something like that in our warm up, and then we would move into our squat pattern. So for our squats, you know, if I just said, all right, everyone, stand up and squat, maybe some people's knees go in or knees go forward, or we're on our toes, anything like that. We would make sure that we're coaching you appropriately. So we talk about, for example, creating a tripod foot. What does that mean? So having stability throughout our whole feet, heel, big toe, pinky toe, grabbing that floor, keeping that core engaged, sitting those hips back, and as low as we can go comfortably. So as I mentioned earlier, I have folks who maybe when they started, they could only go to here. And that's okay. I'm not going to force you to go lower, but I am going to work with you to try to increase that range of motion. So we would do things like, maybe we do an inchworm to a Spider-Man stretch to loosen up those hips. And then maybe we can start to squat a little bit lower. Let's say that the Spider-Man stretch doesn't work for you. Maybe we grab a box And then we modify that so it feels good for you. So we have lots of options, modifications. And again, the biggest goal is teaching proper movement patterns. The next one I wanted to talk about is hinging. So when we think of hinging, I think of deadlifts. Well, a lot of people might say, oh, deadlifts, those are scary for your back. Well, what are you gonna do when you have to pick up that heavy box or your luggage or your dog? You know, you have to have proper deadlift form to pick up anything. Okay, one of my favorite stories is I had I think she was in her mid-70s client in Boston who said, Mimi, I have to be honest, I'm only coming with you because I just need to pick up my cat without hurting my back. And she could, and that was a huge success story because that is what it's all about, functional movements that we need. So before we deadlift, we'll do drills such as a hinging with the PVC pipe. So for example, I want to make sure my head, my neck, my back are all along that PVC. So this wouldn't work. This wouldn't work. I want a straight line. And then we would work on hinging and properly maintaining spinal integrity and our core being engaged the whole time. And then maybe we would go into a deadlift with some weight. And the third one I was going to talk about is we like to do a lot of farmer's carries. So farmer's carries, all that means is I'm holding heavy weight with good posture and I'm walking, which seems like such a simple movement, but things can go wrong. We can round, we can hunch over at our shoulders, lose my core. So really maintaining good posture, walking with those weights. We have all been there, right? Where you have the bag of groceries lined up all the way up your arm. You only want to make one trip. Now, we're actually training so that you do that properly. So like I said, I just wanted to show you that, you know, that's the biggest thing here is we want to make sure we're moving well, and our coaches are here to teach you how to do that and take you all the way from step one to step whatever it is, with mobility, a dynamic warm-up, proper instruction before we load up the weights. And then of course, there's the conditioning and cardiovascular component as well.
Hey, Mimi, we do have a question in the chat. Someone would like to know where you're located and what are the membership fees?
That is important information. 190 North Brookwood Avenue, and it's catty corner to the to Hamilton High School. And then our membership rates are $125 a month for unlimited. And we do have classes 7 days a week. I think most could come anywhere from 5 to 6. So $125 a month for unlimited, $80 a month for 2 times a week. And both of those are auto renew, but there's no contract. So you're not committing to 6 months, a year, but they automatically renew unless you would tell a coach that you will not be continuing. And then we also offer a punch card, which is 10 sessions at $120. And that is more of, think, a drop-in fee. So that does expire in 6 months, but we would hope that you would try to use that. But we do have several members who come from outside of Hamilton and maybe they can't get here as regularly, so they just do a drop-in. I even have someone that lives in Columbus, but visits enough that she's doing the punch card deal. So those are our 3 membership options. And then in terms of private training, that does vary based on one person, three people. And those are usually scheduled with me directly, whereas the adult team training classes and the teen team training classes are all, you can schedule online. And we also have an app that makes it really easy to just go on and enroll yourself.
Mimi, I have a question. Could you just talk a little bit about the importance of movement against, injury and arthritis and all that as we age?
Yes, one of my favorite sayings is movement is medicine. And I think that's what I've really learned over the years. So some of the things I didn't mention, because we would be here all day long if I talked about every single thing I've experienced in my own life, but I tore my ACL in high school and had surgery, overcame that to play in college. And then I've had multiple injuries from playing sports, like a separated shoulder. Some of you may or may not know that 4 years ago, I donated one of my kidneys. So I've had every surgery you can imagine and some that you wouldn't even think of. And overcoming those is why I'm so passionate about this. So if I can stand here having all those surgeries and I can do everything pain-free, it's not by accident, it's because I work at it. So like I said, I have some members who have had knee pain, shoulder pain, and this is all ages. This is, 30 all the way up. So I think it's important that movement is actually what's going to help you feel better, and building strength around the joints is what's going to keep those joints healthy and strong. So maybe if you came in here and started to learn how to activate your glutes and build your hamstring strength, maybe when you're going up the stairs, you're not going to feel that pain, or you're going to feel stronger in those day-to-day movement patterns. That's a great question.
Mimi, this is Lisa. I want to add on to that and get your take on this. I'm a real proponent of the immune system and building the immune system because I'm a cancer survivor, and I know that's how I'm going to continue to survive. So I love your saying that movement is medicine, but I know that you're talking about building muscle core and things like that. Do you talk anything about just activity and what that does, true exercise in building your immune system?
Yeah, I think that's where we try to do a lot of heart rate training. So we train both. There's actually a metric of your fitness is actually your heart rate recovery. So in other words, if you get your heart rate up to a certain percent, let's say, 90+%, you should be able in 1 minute to bring it down all the way to 75%. So most people do have, some type of device that they can track that these days. We're trying to partner with a company called MyZone because I really like that heart rate monitor. But there's a correlation between your health, your cardiovascular fitness, and heart rate recovery. So that's why I program most of my workouts as interval training. Get your heart rate up and let it come back down, because that's actually something that you can improve upon in time. So maybe when you first start, it's not coming down, you're just up there. But then over time, you'll notice that it's going to fall faster, and maybe also not go as high with the same level of activity, which, like you're saying, in your day-to-day life, you're going to notice that when you're playing with the kids or, going for a casual walk, you're not as winded, prior to training.
Mimi, I have a question. Do you meet with people ahead of time kind of to talk about how they would get more fit or get into the program if they feel like they're not quite ready to jump right in, to kind of go over some things? Is that something you'll take a little time to do?
Oh, yes, that's a great question. So when I first opened, I actually was treating every class as kind of like a foundational learning experience. So we talked a lot about why we're doing things the way we do, how we do them, nutrition, movement, and we also did goal setting right out of the gate. So I had everyone that felt comfortable write their goal on the dry erase board so that we could see the goal, and I could make sure I was programming towards what the majority wanted. But that was because we only had 10 members, 20 members, 30 members. So my thought is once we reach probably 50 members, then that'll actually be something we always do. So if you were to join and we have quite a few members that kind of get it, then we would always meet with a new join to go over a movement assessment, see how folks move, a goal setting session, and kind of integrate them into the community. So that is something we will start to do in the future. And then for my personal training, we always start the first session. We go right into it, but we start with a movement assessment, and it allows me time to get to know them.
Thanks.
Hey, Mimi, I had a question. As a 47-year-old male who still thinks that I can lift like I could in my late 20s and early 30s, what high-level advice would you have for someone who's still motivated, still training, but not quite recovering the way that I used to?
All right. Well, first, what you can come here. I can't wait to see you. Yeah. I am for, so we actually have the saying to train for life, which is not something that I coined at all, but I love it because I think that we are training for life. And I don't know what that means. It could be that you want to, maybe you still want to be an athlete and go do a competition. Maybe you, you know, who knows? I used to joke that 4 years ago, I was always kind of training at such a high level. And I kept thinking, what is my calling? Like, what is this all about? Because I would train so hard, you know, most days of the week. And then when it was time for me to consider donating one of my organs, I was like, this is it. This is it. Like, I'm healthy and fit enough to do this. I can't believe, who knew that this is what like all this was about. So you just never know. So I think we're always training, like we're ready for whatever we want to take on. And my advice would be, you can lift, like you are an athlete. You're never going to stop being an athlete, but you have to do so safely and be smart about how. If you come in here and you haven't done anything for 6 months and you're like, oh, well, when I was in college or when I was in my, you know, late 20s, I deadlifted 300 pounds and that's what you try to do the first day, that's not going to end well. And you actually might be able to do that, but that would not be smart because it's a shock to the system. It's like if you haven't trained to run and you're like, next week I'm actually doing a marathon. Like that's not going to work, you know? So I think just training and making sure your training is progressive in nature. So start slow and build up upon it. But I think, Greg, you'd be surprised at what you are capable of doing. I can't wait to see you in here.
Thank you.
Mimi, how do we schedule an appointment with you? Like, can you give us your contact information so we know if we want to have that initial conversation with you? Because I think I would really like to do that.
Yes, absolutely. So our website is Mahon Strength and Fitness. Maybe Tiffany, if you want to write this in the comments, I'm not sure. Mahon Strength and Fitness, all written out, .pike, P-I-K-E, the number 13, which is 13.com. So again, that's Mahon Strength and Fitness .pike13.com. And the reason that is our website URL is because we work with an app called Pike 13. So then you could also download the app, and that's how you create an account and then you can sign up. My contact information is also on the website. So then you can email me directly, which my email, I can give you that as well, is just mahonstrengthandfitness@gmail.com.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I just put both of those in the chat if anybody wants to copy and paste those. And then I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I've been following Mimi and her classes through Facebook, and I just want to say a lot of times it can be intimidating if you're looking to start something and thinking, you know, oh, I don't know, I'm not like in shape. All these people are going to be in shape and I'm going to be the only one. You know, you kind of psych yourself out from joining. And so I just want to say, looking at your classes, it looks like you have all types of people at all levels and stages of their life. So I think that that's really cool. And I know I keep saying I'm going to come in and do it. So I will do that very soon. Maybe I can get Nancy and I will come together. And Laura, we'll get Laura in there too. But I think it's on your website. Is the first class free to check it out?
Yes. Yep. Thank you for making that point. Yeah, the first class is free. We want you to come in and try it out, see how you like it. If you even needed a second class, by all means, we're happy to provide what you need. We want this to be a good experience for you, and we know it will be. So the hardest part, I promise, is getting through the door. And with all the feedback, like I said, I reached out to my membership base and told them I was doing this and asked for some feedback, and inclusiveness and you know, feeling welcome at any stage that they're at is the overwhelming feedback that I received, and that made me really happy. I can tell you, when I step back sometimes and have 10 people in class, and I have someone who's, like I said, in their 60s next to someone who's in their 20s, and they're all working hard, whatever that means for them at their own pace for them, that is what it's all about for me. And that makes me feel incredible. So I would love for you all to check it out.
Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you so much, Mimi. This was great. I learned several different things, and I like your approach on movement. I've never heard anybody talk about it like that. So very educational. So thank you so much. Steve said thank you for all the great information. And for those on Facebook Live, I'll put your website on our Facebook Live as well. And then if anybody wants to go back and watch, Laura will have this on YouTube in the next day or so. So.
Yep,
Laura,
and then
do you
we
have-
will be back in a couple weeks. So we are back on April 13th. So that's a Tuesday again, 9 a.m. And we have Barb Adams. She'll be sharing some information about human resource expertise and the value of diversity in the workplace. So we are very excited to hear from her. So if anybody has any other questions, let us know. We can, Mimi, like I said, we'll add your info to all the places, and we'll get the link up on YouTube here probably today.
All right. Thank you all so much. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you,
Have a great
everybody.
day.
We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you.